Okay, so I'm going to talk about what I learned this semester. I'm going to play a little bit of bass while I do it. So, at the beginning of the semester, if you asked me what the curriculum was, I would have told you that it is the giant book that the school board gives out. But throughout this semester, I've learned that there are a lot of different types of curriculum. The hidden curriculum was the one that kind of hit me as the most foundational of all of them. Because if we don't teach how to live and the values that we believe in, then how do we expect our students to carry any kinds of values? So I thought that was really interesting. During the middle of the semester, I was feeling a little extra academic. And so I started to consider, when I was in high school, where the curriculum was, what kinds of things reflected the curriculum. And so I looked at the assignments I did. I looked at what I did with my instructors, my teachers. I looked at the activities that we did outside of the classroom. And it kind of brought the whole idea of the curriculum being everything together in my mind. Because throughout that experience, I grew as an individual, and I learned a lot of things from the experiences in high school, more so than just the assignments that were given to me. So that's proof that the curriculum, the hidden curriculum, does exist. I still don't have a complete grasp of what the curriculum is, per se. I know that it has to do with race. I know that it has a lot to do with our students. I think that in the past, people have taught curriculum from their own perspective and made a lot of students learn the way that they teach instead of teach the way that the students need to learn. That's one thing that we learned a lot about this semester and the semester prior, is that students all learn differently, and so you have to make sure that you teach to that. I had not really an idea what I was going to do for this video, actually, but I thought this would make it kind of genuine. When I wrote notes this semester, I wrote them in drawings. This is kind of a cool thing. I was never really good at taking notes ever, but this semester I learned how to take notes a little bit better. What I did with my notes is I took all the relevant information that I thought was really useful. I took those notes and I drew them out, and then drawing them allowed me to use them as visual prompts so that I could look back and see what we had done. And I thought that was something that was interesting because nobody ever kind of showed me that or taught me that I could do something like that. It was just like when you take notes, you write down all the information that you need to learn. So it kind of just strengthened that idea of how students learn differently, in my mind, at least. Yeah. I was in Japan over the summer, and I saw lots of really interesting things while I was there. I went to lots of temples and shrines, and I went to lots of modern buildings. I went to Hiroshima, and I saw the site of where the A-bomb went off. And that kind of hit home for me, because I've always liked Japanese culture, and I never realized that going to Japan could teach me so much about the culture, but also so much about the world itself and how there are many different perspectives. What we don't get to see here in Saskatchewan a lot is that there are a lot of different ways of knowing, ways of looking at the earth, ways of looking at life, ways of looking at religion, how everything was created. And when teaching, we have to be conscious of the fact that we are teaching to people from multiple different backgrounds. So that learning experience of going to Japan has helped me understand greater that my classroom is going to be filled with culturally diverse group of individuals that I have to be conscious and aware of. One of the things that really brings this to mind right about now is that it is almost Christmas time, right? Lots of people celebrate Christmas, not gonna lie, but there are tons of people who don't celebrate Christmas as well. And so we need to know that when we're in a classroom, we can't force our students into believing the same things we believe in. Otherwise, we're not making them into better people, we're not letting them learn, we're just forcing something upon them. And I don't really want to be that kind of a teacher. I realize now that what kind of teacher I want to be is I want to be a teacher that takes into account what my students want to learn and gives them options. Doesn't force them to learn something, doesn't force anything on them. I know that when I was in high school, I learned a lot better when I got to choose, even when it was just choosing between two different types of books. That did a lot for me. So I want to make sure that when I'm teaching kids, I'm taking into account the curriculum, of course, but also what my students learn best, what they're interested in, and what I feel and they feel is relevant to their lives. One of the biggest things that students don't get to learn is where something is applied in their life. They're like, well, how am I going to use this? Like, I don't know how I'm going to use this math. How am I going to use this math? Right? But if you show them the relevance of the information that they're learning, then they're going to be able to take it in a lot easier because they're going to know what it's for. And they're going to think, okay, well, this is a little bit important to my life. I want to buy a vehicle next year. And I need to understand how financing works and how I can gather up enough money and how to make a down payment and how does interest work and how does, all this different thing. How do I make payments per month? How many payments is it going to take for me to make a month to pay off the entire, $16,500 of this vehicle? So that's stuff that we can make relevant for them. Sometimes it's hard, like, how am I going to make chemistry relevant for a student that's not interested in chemistry at all, right? It's like a student who's really into trades. Well, I say, people can use chemicals to make paint for vehicles. There are chemicals used in vehicles all the time, like gasoline, right? If you're teaching combustion in chemistry class, you can connect that to vehicles and how they work, right? How it uses combustion to power a vehicle and how that energy is moved around. That's all chemistry, right? And physics. Right? So, what I'm saying is that the curriculum is not just the document. It's not just the hidden curriculum. It's everything put together. It's all the different curriculums, whether it be the reciprocal learnings that people gather from doing an experience, whether it be the hidden messages that you give them when you're doing something about society and your beliefs and hey, you shouldn't do that because it's wrong, something like that, or it's just the curriculum itself, the actual document curriculum that's given to us that says, hey, you need to teach kids how to do blank, and then these are some ways that you can tell that they've done it, or these are some of the criteria of them doing so. So that's how I feel about curriculum. Curriculum is everything. I've learned that this semester, but to get away from that cliche, curriculum is everything that's worth knowing, and that's a matter of perspective. So we have to understand that our students have a different perspective than we do, so we have to help them find out what is most important to them and teach them things that are relevant to that.